this video, we are going to do a Bitcoin technical analysis. And Bitcoin is right now trading at 17,640. And I think that yesterday was the fourth highest candle close of all time. So we are in some very exciting times. In this video, we are going to take a look at multiple time frames, try to answer the question, where is Bitcoin heading next, and what are some very important support and resistance levels we need to have in mind going forward. But yeah guys, without further ado, let's jump right into the video. And before starting this one, I just want to mention real quick that if you're interested in getting similar videos such as this one, I do technical analysis on Bitcoin, but also Ethereum, gold, silver, and more. Then don't hesitate to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I also have to give a quick disclaimer that this video is for educational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. Also, if you hit that like button, that would be so kind of you guys. But alright, now let's jump into the most recent candles. So recently we had two very bullish days, two large green candles right here when we broke some critical resistance levels. One here at 16,500 and another one here at around 17,250. Later in this video, we are going to take a look at why these levels are important and why they might act as a key support levels in the future. But alright, yesterday we saw this huge green candle with large shadows that we have right here. This candle is called a spinning top candle and represents market indecision. That was a huge candle with lots of volatility, and I'm actually not surprised by that because where Bitcoin are right now, we haven't had a lot of price action. That usually means that we can get, a very volatile period. If we take a look at today, we haven't seen as much volatility, but the bulls and the bears are still definitely fighting, and we're seeing, a lot of price action. Today is so far slightly down. We are seeing minus 0.70% around that. But okay, so what is some, important things to have in mind? Well, the first thing I'm going to emphasize here is actually the RSI. So if we take a look at the RSI, we have actually been talking about this one a lot. And the key thing here on the RSI is that we seem to be always bouncing here on the 70 level. You can see we bounced right here, pretty much went down and retested it again right there, and also right there. So we seem to have, support on the RSI at the 70 level. And the RSI it stands for the relative strength index, and you can think of it as a measurement of the momentum. In general, we say that over 70, then we have high momentum and are overbought. So, as long as RSI is over this above this 70 level, we are, keeping up the bullish momentum. So one possible warning sign would definitely be if we break RSI, to the downside and go below 70. If we take a look at the volume, we can see that there are definitely some volume coming into the market right now. Yesterday, this big spinning top candle, the volume for that day is represented by the rectangle below. And you can see that we had some pretty good amount of volume yesterday. And as you know, the more volume we have, the more market participants are trading and the more significant the move becomes. So if we, for example, break to the upside or downside of a support/resistance, the more volume we have, usually the more significant the move is. So that is definitely one thing to note. But alright, now I think we're ready to take a look at some key support and resistance levels we need to have in mind going forward. And let's start with resistance right here. And the first obvious resistance is all the way up at all-time high. That level is around 19,660, and we derive that level from the good old days all the way back in 2017, December right there. And after that, we have a few ways to set targets, but I'm not going to go too into detail on that in this video. Okay, so what levels do we have on the downside? What possible supports do we have on the downside? Well, the first one, which is a key level, is this one at around 70,250. You can see right here at this zone. And where do I derive that level from? Well, we have to zoom back again to around the all-time high area, you can see that this level comes from the local high we printed right here in early January 2018. We can also see that we have been having some price action, you know, right here before we saw the final push to the upside. So definitely have that 17,250 level in mind. Later in this video, we will actually see that we have been testing this one on shorter time frames. We have been testing this previous resistance at 17,250 as support. So definitely stick around for that. The next possible support on the downside is this one at 16,500. And this one comes from the, you know, short-term local high we printed right here. We printed a short-term high as well there, and we have been seeing some price action right there. So definitely 16,500 is also worth having in mind. If the price would go really south, and if we for some reason break down of both the 17,200 level and the 16,500, then one level that could possibly act as support going forward is this white upsloping line we have right here. This one is actually significant in my opinion. Why? Well, we have been seeing this one act. First of all, it acted as resistance one time there, 2 times, 3 times, you know, 4 times here. Let's zoom in. Pretty much 4 and 5 times. Then we broke this one, saw an impulse to the upside, and then we retested the previous resistance as support right there. That was a very key, you know, retest in my opinion. So it's very possible that if the price would go really down, that we want to test this one as support once again. If you want even one more level, you can look at this 14,100, but you know, it's pretty far to go down there, so I won't go too much in detail on that one. But all right guys, now I think we're ready to zoom in a bit here and take a look at the 4-hour chart. So here on the 4-hour we can see a few interesting things here much more clearly. One thing is, you know, you can see the wick of the red candle that went down and pretty much spot on tested this 17,250 level as support. You can also see that this recent green candle, 4-hour candle, also went down, not all the way, but it wicked down and almost tested this 17,000 level again. We can also see that you see this huge green spinning top candle we have right there. The bears actually managed to, for a very short while, push the price below this level. However, it got a strong reaction to the upside, and this level at 70,250 definitely have been acting as support. So that is a good sign as long as that one can act as support. You can also see here on the 4-hour why this 16,500 level is important. We derived that one from all the way back at the all-time high level, but you can see that prior to the movement to the upside, we tested this one yet again as resistance right there. We broke this one right there, went up a bit, retested as support, and then we ran to the upside. A possible resistance you can look for on the 4-hour is, you know, I think we had this one in the previous video. This one acted as resistance 1, 2, 3 times right there, and when we broke this one, we saw an impulse to the upside. So it's possible that we want to retest this previous resistance as support in the future. So that upsloping white line is definitely one that you could have in mind on the shorter time frames for the future. Now let's zoom in a bit once again and take a look at the 1-hour chart. On the 1-hour chart, we actually have a very interesting divergence. The most important thing here on the 1-hour chart, or one interesting thing, is the divergence we had here. So the price, we're clearly making higher lows, while if we take a look at the oscillator, if we take a look at the RSI was making lower lows, and the same thing with the MACD, lower lows. So that, you know, implies a continuation to the upside, which we actually saw. We saw an impulse to the upside, however, we got a reaction. In the immediate short term, since we got a reaction right there, it's possible that we will have some, you know, down sloping resistance that looks like this. So, you know, one could argue that we are in a sort of wedge looking pattern right here on the 1-hour chart. And of course, to the downside, a break right there would be bearish. And if we break to the upside, we could see, you know, higher levels and eventually test this local high right there once again. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it for this video. If you feel like you got any kind of help or value, then please consider dropping a like. And if you guys want to see more similar videos such as this one, then don't hesitate to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I hope I will catch you in the next video. But for now guys, take care. Ciao ciao.